Let's now turn our attention to Ekiti governorship election and the preparation. So a lot of things are happening ahead of tomorrow. It's just few hours before the poll will open. Let's get a feel of how prepared INEC is in this exercise tonight. I'm being joined by the resident electoral commissioner of INEC in Ekiti State, Dr. Adeniran Tella. He joins us live here in our makeshift studio in Ekiti. Thank you so much, Dr. Adeniran Tella, for joining us tonight. And apologies for taking you out of the office. I know you have a lot on your table, especially at this critical time. But let me ask you, point blank, are you ready?
Yes, absolutely.
How ready are you?
100%.
The beavers working? Because some of the civil society organizations had their fear about beavers. So what happened?
The fear about the beavers. Can I have that again?
They have fear about the beavers, the bimodal accreditation.
They're supposed to have stated some of the points or conditions before they could have said that.
You remember what happened in FCT?
FCT is quiet. No, FCT or Ekiti. You are referring to the prideness of Ekiti.
I'm talking about
Ekiti.
Ekiti governorship election. They have fears about the use of beavers based on the last election INEC conducted in the FCT.
We have no fears. We are fully prepared. We have taken delivery of about 3,446 beavers, which have been fully charged, configured, and we have the relevant power bank and backup with newly bought generators that have been servicing. So we don't have any issues.
So what about training of the users? Because one of the issues was that some of the users in FCT were a bit far away from understanding how the technology works.
Some time ago, precisely 2 months now, we discovered that the core members happen to be the single largest pool where we normally harvest our ad hoc personnel. And here in Ekiti, we now use our discretions by having a 5 weeks training, rigorous one, exposing them to this new technology, such that they'll be able to have and familiarize themselves on how to operate the beavers effectively. And besides that, we concluded our training with them last week, involving all the SPO, the supervisory presiding officer, the assistant presiding officer, and the PO.
So, give us an understanding, because telecommunications network in Ekiti is not the very best that you might imagine it should be. As I'm giving you any cause for worry.
The network happens not to be the main thing that affects the beavers.
So what is it?
Space, outer space.
Can you explain that?
Good. The SIM has been inserted into the beavers. Can you tell me a place in Ekiti that you don't have access to any network we are using in Nigeria? Be it MTN, Blue, or 9Mobile. Can you tell me? Can you tell me? So it's not the network. We have given the understanding to the people that will handle the beavers. By the time they are making use of this, they have to give them a space such that people will be able to see. But if people are not converging, not even converging at that particular beavers, without even exposing to the light, can be affected. So it's not a function of network.
The beavers is claustrophobic.
Exactly. It's not network.
So it doesn't like when people cluster around it.
Then that's true. People should be given a space by the time they are clean so that they'll be able to have access to voting.
So your officials are well aware of this?
That beavers...
you don't need to cluster around it.
Yes.
You need to give it some air. Yes. It has to breathe to be able to function properly.
People must be queuing without even clustering around the beavers so that they have enough time to cast their votes.
You say you provided 3,000, over 3,000.
Exactly.
How many backup do you have?
Sufficient, more than enough. Sufficient. At least, give or take, we should be having about 6,000 now.
There is going to be another election aside the governorship election in Ekiti State.
Exactly.
Can you give us an understanding of that?
We have the aborted Ekiti East Constituency 1 that will be conducted same time, same day at Omu tomorrow.
Has lessons been learned from what happened in that election?
Definitely.
What have you learned from that? What did you learn from that election?
You discover that this election was conducted precisely 2021, ending of 2021. And we discovered that some of the criminal elements just came in because of the proximity of that environment to neighboring state. We call on all the leaders of the community. We had a meeting for all the relevant stakeholders in that environment, and they have this kind of understanding, written a letter to the commission, that they are going to be part of the security measures to oversee the exercise.
So those are the lessons you've taken out of this. What about the violence that erupted? I mean, because
that is why we said the security operatives are in place and it is in consonance with the community.
Now,
because the violence occurs in the community.
So transport workers are involved in this, and you might be using their union for this same election.
What we do is this. We had our transport plan matrix. We call on their unions, the union leaders, the executive members, and they make provisions for the vehicles. And as I speak to you, they have been resuming to my office. We started that yesterday, today, and tomorrow as well, such that we'll be able to monitor the activities of each driver that will be taking our materials from the rack center to the polling unit in that environment as well.
So there are guarantees being given, because I remember in the election in Anambra State, all of a sudden some of these transport workers didn't show up on election day.
I was there. I was in Anambra.
Have you envisaged this kind of situation?
No.
And if it does happen, what is your backup?
What we are doing is this. We had a discussion with the executive members. We are paying them. We tried to activate and domesticate the existing MOU that we have with this union, and giving them the specifications of what are needed from our electoral officers. So invariably, most of those that are going to be engaged, we have their numbers, which has even been monitored by their executive members, and they have absolute control by them.
There are 11 out of the 16 candidates who signed the peace accord. Does this give you a cause for worry?
No.
That 5 out of the 16 did not sign the peace accord?
Absolutely not. We waited for practically 2 hours before the event took place. We're supposed to have started around 10. Eventually, we started around 12. So, and the thing was even signed in the presence of all the political parties.
So the reason why I'm asking is that if there are 16 candidates and only 11 signed, it means that 5 may not
participate.
But if they didn't participate, that means they're not signing up.
Definitely participate
Into the non-violent election.
They will definitely participate. They have their representatives there, just that they've not even signed for them.
Is the IRF ready? The IRF being the portal where the officials,
INEC press.
Yes, where the INEC officials will take pictures of the result and dump. Is that ready?
The situation room has been activated right now in my office.
Okay, the situation room is in your office, not in Abuja.
No, we have here, we have in Abuja. So we are even corresponding. So we have activated it. So that we're able to expose what we are going, able to have access to what is going on.
So, I mean, are your officials pretty much aware? Because one of the problems is that the pictures taken, because the public is also going to be monitoring some of these results real time. So, I mean, the clarity of the cameras to take this picture on the beavers, have you tested that? Is it foolproof?
2 weeks ago, we conducted more accreditation beavers in 12 randomly polling units in 6 local governments. And the selection was based on each senatorial district. And it was a huge success.
Did you receive any information as to Any coalition, any stepping down, any court order on any candidate? Well, I know you've been hearing that story.
We are preparing for election, not for political parties. We are preparing election where it involves many political parties.
So all of those stories about whether a candidate has been disqualified.
We have not received any court judgment from the office. Why should we stop anybody to conduct, to participate, or a candidate? So
if your last outing for a governorship election as a commission was near disaster, deployment was, there are a lot of hiccups, headache in terms of, the morning of the election, transporters didn't just show up. It caused the election to start very late.
Mr. Ashim,
yes,
I'll be glad to tell you that the transporter came before the time stipulated yesterday. You can go and find out.
Same thing happened in Anambra State.
No, we have the civil society organizations, we have observers there yesterday. And that's why we succeeded in moving our materials and men on time. You can find out.
We were there, we monitored it, we covered it. We covered it the same way in Anambra State.
Did you not see them?
On the morning of the election.
Were you in my office yesterday?
Just a moment.
Were you in my office yesterday?
The China television was there. We covered it.
Were you in my office yesterday?
It was live. It was on TV. Yeah, so the question I'm asking is whether you are prepared for the unforeseen situation compared to what happened in Anambra State. The same thing happened
let me tell you something.
On the morning of the election, the story changed.
Let me tell you something. Besides the vehicles provided by the transport union, we have our own vehicles as backup. I will ensure that the vehicles taking our materials to each local government, we attach 4 extra vehicles to them. Meaning that we have prepared ourselves fully for any eventuality.
So voters should have no fear whatsoever.
This election is going to be conducted on an improved electoral process that will guarantee free, fair, and inclusive one.
The Electoral Act, this is going to be the second election conducted under the new Electoral Act regime. What are the differences Nigerians should be expecting that the Electoral Act will be making a difference on this election?
The first one, you know now, the transmission of the results electronically, which has been approved now. And exactly, and this is an indication that the human influence will be totally eroded away and giving way to much more transparency for this electoral project.
So where will the server for this transmission be? Is it in Abuja or in your office?
We are transmitting here in Abuja.
So the result, you have a server here now in Ekiti, yes. And you have another one in Abuja.
Yes, we have a subscription room here, and we only have in Abuja.
But is the server local or is online where Nigerians can monitor?
Everybody will have access to it as they are casting their vote.
What is the portal? Can you give us the address of the portal?
This is the INEC portal. That's the I forgot to say that check.
No problem. It's as much as you are able to get it to us, we'll be able to make it public to our viewers if you can get the exact. So we just wanted to know how transparent the exercise will be, and since you said it's going to be made public.
It is an assurance to the good set of people of Ekiti, and not only that, Nigeria in particular, and international community, that we are going to conduct this election in an effective manner, that even giving us a recognition globally.
I know that you shouldn't bother yourself too much about this next question, but it's something that you also need to have put into your strategy. Okay. For those who think that this election will not end on the 4th ballot, do you have that kind of alternative plan or that strategy should it happen that way?
I understand you.
If the election did not end on the 4th ballot, if, for example, you go into a supplementary election or you go to a runoff, what would you do? Did you think about it? Did You plan
We are making provisions for that.
for any eventualities of supplementary
Yes.
or
We don't emphasize that anyway.
you know, it is a runoff. A runoff means that it's a close election and you cannot decide the winner at the first ballot.
It
is not it's not human error, but it's based on a tight race. So you're prepared for such?
Yes, fully prepared.
So what can you tell us about the issue of vote buying? Civil society organizations are worried about it. They said there are possibilities, and they're already seeing the sign. There is a history of vote buying in Ekiti State. We saw it in 2014. A bit of that played out in 2018.
You see, this trend has been too long. Though it was not as pronounced as it is now. It is a bane to the Nigerian society, which should not be encouraged. And this cannot be even accepted in the Nigerian democratic practices. Fortunately for us, the new Electoral Act has spelled out clearly a punishable offense for anybody that involved will be severely dealt with. So the security operatives are fully aware about this, and if anybody is caught, will face the penalty.
What is the penalty? Will people be arrested on the spot?
They will arrest, definitely.
But does INEC have the power to prosecute?
We don't have, but it's involved in the election now that we can even do that, and it is even been known to the public. It's an offense. And anything that is an offense is against the law.
Will EFCC be monitoring this election?
Definitely. I left them in my office as I was coming out.
So they will be at the polling unit?
They are there already now. They are now in my office as I step out. ICPC, EFCC, everybody.
So, I mean, give us an understanding of what you have done to guard against it. It's not enough to say, if it happens, this is what we're going to do. What are you doing to guard, to prevent it from happening in the first place?
That is the more reason the INEC on our part, some time ago, that we discovered that the security operatives are critical in the electoral process. We now consider it necessary and imperative, where the Electoral Institute now came up with 3-phase layer training, which was being anchored by the electoral security training for security operatives. And the idea is to let them know the repercussion and also for them to be proactively mitigate against such occurrence.
Because I know for sure that there was an instance where INEC created the way INEC positioned the cubicles for the vote in such a way that
you can understand that it's not an open something that you can easily see if you are involving or engaging yourself in such a practice.
Are you conscious of positioning
Definitely.
it in that manner?
Definitely. Even without even giving the distance, a 2 meters distance when you are voting, so that people will be able to see what you are doing over there.
It does look to me that COVID-19 protocols are not really being captured in all of the conversations.
Really captured. We made enough provision for these pandemics. We have succeeded in providing, the Commission has succeeded in providing the necessary precautions like the ventilator spirit, we have the face masks, we have all the necessary things to guide against this occurrence. We are not even giving a distance, we ensure the social distancing, and we are giving them the sanitizer for them by the time we are casting a vote, because we are making use of the beavers, everybody will be making use of their hand over it.
You have clarified to us, I don't know if you have the figure on your fingertip right there. The figure, if it's correct, the number of registered voters, is it 988,923?
988,202.
That is the number of registered voters?
Yes, that is total registered, voters registered.
Do you have the number of PVCs collected?
The number of PVC collected should be, as of date 4 yesterday, we have 900, we have, sorry please.
Because as of May, what we had was 734,000.
No, as of Monday, we have 749,065. It's an indication of 76% have collected, but nevertheless, we are sourcing to harvest all the remaining PVC uncollected from our respective polling units, such that we're able to have the total number collected and uploaded to our website.
Okay. Now, the polling units have also increased.
Yes.
From 2,194 to 2,455.
2,455 polling units.
I mean, how much knowledge do the voters have, or does the voter have in respect of this, about the new polling unit?
We, through the voters' education and publicity, we embark on a serious sensitization by going to the television, reaching out to the traditional rulers, market outreach, and show up. So we are now even, they have been fully aware about what is going on, about the total number. So we are making use of about 10,269 ad hoc personnel, including 5% margin. Okay,
the number of the population, of course, we know, is way over 3 million of the people of the state, the registered voters. You said it's 988,204?
No, 989,202.
202. So we're correct there. The number of wards is 177.
You said what?
Number of wards, the voting wards.
Okay.
177. And the number of
polling units center 177.
Okay. And the polling units are 2,445.
Yes.
Yeah. And the number of PVCs collected, he said it has moved down to 734 to
749 and 065. That was on Monday.
As of Monday.
As of Monday. But as I speak to you, we want to harvest all on the relevant PVU so that we know the accurate figures and the number of PVC uncollected.
I mean, if you look at the number of the weight of the senatorial districts, where you have more voters and where you have less voters, do you have the same strategy to implement this election in all of these areas, or you have different strategies?
What we do when we are even creating more polling units is this. By the time we discover we have more than 750 threshold in a particular unit, we migrate from the existing polling units to another polling unit, and we make the provision onwardly for each senatorial district.
So tomorrow, there is a lot of issue that will come up. The weather, the rain. It rained yesterday.
We are not good.
So that's what I'm asking. Did you plan for that?
Definitely. We have canopies. Our rafts have been activated. We have made provision for water, well illuminated, so that people will have a comfort. And we create a very good atmosphere for them.
So at the end of the day, you are expecting a larger turnout. The last time around, the voter turnout was less than 40% in Ekiti State in 2018.
Mr. Shin, when I discovered the turnout, when people are collecting the PVC, I said 76% as of Monday. As I speak to you, at least we are going to move to 80 or thereabout, over 80%. People are coming out to vote tomorrow.
Dr. Tela, the resident electoral commissioner for INEC in Ekiti State, I know you have a very, very tough job on your hands because it's the second election after the signing of the electoral act. So it is not only the Ekiti State business, it is the nation's business. So all eyes are going to be on you, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you
so much for taking our time to come down.
I want to tell our people to come out tomorrow to cast their vote, such that we will determine the next person that will occupy the space of governorship. And this is a kind of future, and they need to take the lead by themselves.
Thank you so much. I will leave you now so that you can rush back to the office.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Just a moment, Dr. Tela, we need to close the show. And you will close the show with me, so stay with me for a few seconds. And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Don't forget, there's a lot. We have nothing in the bag for you right here on Channel Television as far as the election tomorrow is concerned. We have a special analysis center for you to get the results to you. So stay with Channel Television, because tomorrow all eyes are on Ekiti, and your nation, the leader in broadcasting in the nation, will give you all you need to know. as far as this election is concerned. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.